Hello friends! Today we'll show you how to apply Daricco Factura Micro Decorative plaster in a minimalistic style. The texture will look like a polished wall or a vintage wall. This technique is very great if you want to do something similar to painting the walls, but with minimalistic pattern, and still have some charm and some effect. So, here we go. As always, the first layer is the deep penetrating primer. We do not apply it on drywall, so we proceed to the next step right away. Step number 2 is to apply Daricco Fondo adhesive primer, so that the texture has something to cling to. Okay, there we go. Four hours have passed, and we start applying our texture. It is applied in 2 layers, but one after the other, meaning wet on wet. That's what the masters say. Initially, we apply the first layer, set the pattern. We wait for about 25-30 minutes and apply a second thin layer, as if drowning it in our undried first layer. This will create this 3D effect and the smooth, flat surface. Let's go! We tinted the material in the color of yellow clay, creating a Provençal effect, as if the wall was natural clay, but polished. The first stage is simply applying the material in the thickness of the grain. Even a bit more is allowed. We need to fill the entire surface evenly. When we applied our wall, we make chaotic movements, creating an irregular pattern, light overlaps, which can leave gaps somewhere. And you can even leave a trowel mark somewhere, it won't be a problem. The main thing is to make sure that there are no identically directed movements. They should be chaotic and lost in our technique. When we have evenly applied the material to the surface and made our slightly light texture, we leave it. We leave it for about 25 to 30 minutes, and when the material dries a little on the wall and becomes like clay, we apply a second layer. Now we rest. Half an hour have passed, our first layer has already become like clay, so we apply the second and final layer very thinly, just sinking it into the structure of the first one, similar to putty. Now we take a little bit of material on the trowel and begin. When applying this second layer, it is essential to remove the residue from the part where we applied the material. In other words, we need to apply the second layer as thin as possible. As you can see, we have enough time to go back and remove the remaining material and further compress it. At this point, we are already beginning to reveal our pattern. We have done a good job here, so we will finish applying this layer and go back to the standby mode. We will wait about another 10 to 15 minutes and continue the process of polishing our texture. So let's take a break. Ten minutes have passed, and now we are starting to thicken and polish our micro texture a little. Finishing polishing. The material no longer stretches behind the trowel. It is already quite strong, but still suitable for thickening. This is the moment when we create the final pattern, and therefore we can stop at the state that suits us. If we want more shine, make more efforts, take more approaches. If we just want a smooth, matte surface, we shouldn't try too hard. We leave it to dry completely. After 8 hours, we cover it with a protective varnish. 12 hours have passed and our texture has dried. Now we are covering it with a protective layer. We choose Daricco Patina because we don't want the surface to shine or change color. Therefore, we cover the entire surface with a regular roller in one layer. In 10 hours we can see the final result. And now our texture is ready. We got a completely smooth, very pleasant feeling coating that looks like a polished antique old wall. It looks very cool. If you need to make an alternative to paint, then I think this is one of the best options for decorating your walls. Thank you for watching this video to the end. Don't forget to like us, subscribe to our YouTube channel. We are also on Instagram and Facebook. This was Daricco, Choice of Professionals. See you soon.